Hi everyone, my name is Diane Riley and I blog at teamworkdream.com. Today we're actually going to talk about work from home opportunities, and actually we're going to speak about a very special one that you might not have actually thought about, and it's actually becoming a voiceover artist. Today I'm going to do an interview with a wonderful person by the name of Timothy Burke of spoken word creation. So right now I'm going to ask him a few questions and hopefully it will help you with your work from home decisions.
Hi,
Okay, here
Diane.
we go. Hi, Tim. Right. Can you tell me, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I am a semi-retired radio news anchor and reporter. Um, and I got into doing voiceover and particularly audiobooks um, to help supplement my income, to be honest. But I also found out that I really love it and I really love working from home.
Okay, great. Excellent. All right. With that being said, what actually made you want to work from home rather than, out of, from an office or something?
Well, from obviously, who wouldn't want to work from home rather than have to go into an office or a factory or whatever every day? But the situation I was in was I had been let go from the radio station I had been working at, and
Okay.
the radio business is absolutely crazy. You have to expect to move a lot, and I had just moved several times across several states, and I had just bought a wonderful house that I love living in,
Okay.
and I didn't want to have to move again.
Right.
Uh, so I took an early retirement and then started pursuing voiceover work in earnest, and found out that yes, I can live pretty comfortably doing this.
Okay, great. Okay. So rather than continue, you said you were semi-retired and you didn't want to move up and down. Um, why did you actually choose voiceover artist? Did you want to try something else, something completely new, or?
Well, part of it is because I've always had a fascination with recording. Uh, in one of my past lives, way back when dinosaurs still roamed the earth, I made a living for quite a while as a musician. I've recorded in studios before, and had a fascination from that, and then had a lot of experience in recording, um, at least audio, when I was working in radio. So I
Okay.
figured let's go ahead and try to capitalize on my strengths. Excuse me. Plus, I've got one of those voices that,
Yes.
even before I started working in radio, I could go into a store somewhere, be talking to somebody behind the counter, and they go, "Are you on radio?" "Yeah, radio." So I figured, hey, let's play to my strengths. So
Yeah.
that's what I did, and it's worked out quite well for me.
Okay,
Although
great.
I do want to tell people that you don't have to have a radio voice or, even a very special voice to get into voiceover work. Because my experience is that a lot of clients are not particularly looking for the polished professional voice.
Right.
In fact, I've been rejected from a number of auditions and was told the reason was because I sound too polished and professional. Often
Okay.
as not, clients, especially in the voiceover world, are looking for somebody that sounds like the guy or the girl next door, somebody their audience who can identify with. So
Okay.
don't feel that you need to have a particularly stellar voice to get into voiceover work.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Good. I'm actually going to skip a question because you've actually, covered all that. And as you said, you have a very distinctive voice, which I just love hearing. And by the way, people, he's actually got a wonderful singing voice too. Just to let that secret out. Right. So how long have you actually been doing this job?
I started dabbling with it a number of years back, but didn't get into it in earnest until I got laid off from the job I was at.
Okay.
I published my first audio book in September of 2017.
Mhm.
Now, I do almost exclusively audiobooks at this point.
Right.
I am working on getting into other areas, but right now, audiobooks is what I work on mainly. So, yeah, roughly a year and a half I've been at this.
A year and a half. So at what point during, doing this did you say to yourself, wow, I can really make, a living from this?
Well, once people started paying me for it decently. Yeah, audiobooks don't pay real well. And in order to make a decent amount of money, you have to, work pretty hard at it. But that's not such a problem when you really like what you're doing. I
Right.
love reading to begin with, and now I can get people to pay me to do it.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, very, very good. Right, okay. Um, right. Now I can see that you're sitting in a wonderful sound room there. And so my next question to you is, do you actually need expensive equipment, or can you start in a bootstrap manner?
You don't need terribly expensive equipment to get started. I This wonderful soundproof booth that you see surrounding me, I built this. There are Go out on the web and do a search on, do it yourself audio booths. There's hundreds of plans out there.
Okay.
This cost me a little under $1,000 to build, and it took some time and elbow grease. But this is a relatively recent development. Prior to this, I was recording in basically a clothes closet.
Right.
I had an extra closet. I hung moving blankets, those thick padded blankets you get for wrapping around furniture when you move. I hung those on the wall and left the clothes in the closet. Yeah, it was a bit crowded, but it did a wonderful job of absorbing all of the noise.
Right.
And that's one of the things you want to have happen when you're recording. And
Definitely.
um, I used a what's called a USB mic. It plugs directly into your computer,
Mhm.
and you can get a very good USB mics now. The technology for this kind of thing is just advancing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
So you can get a good USB mic for under $100. And then the other thing that you would need is some kind of recording software.
Mhm.
There's a program out there that I used for quite a while called Audacity.
Yeah.
It's absolutely free. It doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles you may want to as you move on, but I know a number of narrators right now that still use it and have used it for quite a while and are very happy with it.
Excellent.
So yeah, you don't have to put a lot of money into getting started.
Okay. Oh, it's good to know because, as a person starting in the work from home world, usually you have to start, with a smaller budget normally, and then you grow with time, with the success of your business. So that's really good to know. Okay. Now, with saying that, you've got a media background already, but do you actually need to have that to get into the voice artistry business?
I don't believe so. You know, Personal experiences, I don't know because I had a media background,
Right.
but there are any number of voiceover artists and narrators that I know because I joined. There's a number of Facebook groups out there that cater to people who narrate and who do voiceover specifically,
Okay.
and many of them never had any kind of experience in this at all. Granted, their learning curve was a little longer than mine because I knew what I was doing as far as the technology went, right off the bat. So it
Right.
may take you a while to learn how to do that kind of thing, but there are lots of videos out there on YouTube about how to use Audacity. I'm planning on putting together a video myself, an explainer video on how to do this thing and how I go about narrating. So
Okay.
keep an eye out for that on my website. And
Okay.
but you don't have to have any real formal training to get started.
Okay.
My opinion is You may want to get some actual formal training as you go on in advance. I'm planning on getting some voice acting classes sometime in the relatively near future, but I've never had a voice acting class in my life. And I'm
Okay.
currently working on my 38th audiobook.
Excellent. That's really, really good to know. Um, okay. Now, with all this being said, have you actually experienced any challenges, any problems that you've had that you've been able to basically navigate your way through with your voiceover business?
Um, there haven't been any real challenges, per se. There's been, some difficulties that I've needed to overcome, learning how to get my audio booth set up correctly, learning how to actually narrate, because there's a big difference between narrating and delivering the news. And so that has taken me some time to learn that as well.
Okay.
Um, but as far as challenges, it's hard to think of challenges when you really love what you're doing. Getting up in the morning and really looking forward to what's going to be going on. It was like even what we're doing today. I've
Yeah.
recently gotten into video recording and video editing, and I was really geeked this morning about doing this interview because this is fun stuff for me to do.
Good for you. Oh dear. Excellent. All right. Um, right. I mean, you just touched on that. Now that you've become really accustomed to doing audiobooks and so on, and you now say that you want to go into different directions. In what way do you want to expand your business?
Well, one of the things is, as I mentioned, I've really discovered that I love video editing. I've been putting together promotional videos for audiobooks for various artists, myself included. Um, they We've discovered that video is an incredibly powerful marketing tool. So you do a little promo video, put that out all over your social media sites, and it brings customers in.
Yeah.
So there's that end of it, but I'm also want to expand more in the audio end of it as well. Like I said before, I love doing narrating and producing audiobooks, but the pay for it isn't real good, especially when you're beginning.
Okay.
It Once you get, if you get into the real big leagues, yeah, but that takes a lot of time and you got to really work at it. For
Okay.
those of us who are just beginning, and keep in mind, I've only been at this for a year and a half.
Okay.
Audiobooks don't pay a heck of a lot. I want to advance into doing voiceover work for commercials, for corporate explainer videos,
Right.
etc.
Okay.
There's a lot more money to be made in that, but I'm learning as I go, and unfortunately, in a position where I don't have to, I'm not backed up against the wall financially, so I can take my time and do it the right way and learn as I go.
Okay. All right. No, that's good to know. So, what you're saying during the beginning stages, it does take some time to actually develop your skills, but once you get better, as with anything, more work will come in, and so your income will invariably go up with that. But it's also good to upsell. So, your idea of providing, a video service, video audio service when doing the audio books, that's a really good addition to your business. Um, and so basically for the viewers out there, if you do want to get into this business, it's good to basically diversify into other areas where you can use your voice, you know, to make more money, basically. So yeah, no, that's really, really good to know. Great.
And just as an aside from that,
Hmm.
um, to give you an idea of how it can grow, for about the first 6 months or so when I was doing this, I was putting out auditions for audiobooks, on a daily basis, a half a dozen to a dozen a day.
Right.
Uh, yeah, that can get really frustrating. I have a laundry list of rejection notices.
Hmm.
However, once my name started getting known, I started getting more books, and I have now not auditioned for a book in at least the last 6 months
Right.
or better. because people have heard my voice. I'm having authors and rights holders approaching me saying, I've got a
Right.
book I want you to narrate. What are your rates, et cetera, et cetera. So it
Mhm.
does, and I've got quite a number of repeat customers now that have gotten, I've done a half a dozen books for. So
Excellent.
it takes some time and effort in the beginning, but persistence.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, you've heard it there. What you need to do is make sure that you stay consistent. Don't give up, even when you get, one or two rejections. Um, just keep on going. Try to expand into other avenues where you can, and just keep on learning. And with that, you will get better, and the work will start to come in. As Timothy said, he hasn't had to basically audition for any job. They actually come into him. So if you just use Timothy as inspiration for your voiceover business. There you go. It will grow, but you just have to keep on going. So we're going to actually round up here. But before we go, Tim, in case anyone wants to get in touch with you to provide voiceover work, any podcasters out there, audiobook people, anyone at all, could you just give us your contact details, please?
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is through my website. My website is spokenwordcreation.com. There is a contact us tab on that website, and you can send a message to me. I may not get back to you real quick, but I will get back to you one way or another. And if you have any questions about, how I do this, or maybe looking for some advice for whatever my advice is worth, or maybe if you've got a project we might be able to collaborate on, send me a note. I'd love to, like I said in my video on my website, I'd love to hear what you're up to because I love doing this stuff.
Okay, excellent. Any social media that they can get in contact with you as well?
I am out on Facebook as Timothy Burke. I've got a laundry list of to-do lists. I've got to set up a business Facebook page as well. Um, and if you want to go straight with me, straight to me via email rather than going through my website, although I'd prefer you go through my website because it generates traffic on my website.
Yes.
But my email address is tmichael@spokenwordcreation.com.
Excellent. All right. Thanks so much, Timothy. It was really, really great speaking with you. And I hope that the viewers out there have learned something new and learned an avenue where they can actually work from home. Okay. Thanks so much, Tim. It was great speaking with you.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.